Confession, if you're really following the under 30 agenda, I'm sure you're all reading it like, now, all right, a confession, if you're really following the under 30 agenda, I'm sure you're all reading it like, like the tea leaves. I was originally going to moderate with Machine Gun Kelly later, but I traded into this slot. I traded because I think your business story is really interesting.
Oh, dude, he's going to drink my blood. Don't say that. Are you kidding me? Oh, dude, Megan Fox is going to slit my throat. Okay.
So Matt was numbered. We just came out with our top creators list, and you were number 9.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks. 8 would have been good, but 9 is awesome.
Hey, we got next year.
I never could have thought this would have happened.
And the point is, last year it was 0.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like negative 3,000 last year. Yeah.
And so what's you look at the numbers. You went from very little to what do you got? 17 million followers now on TikTok.
Yeah, I think like 17.2, something like that.
And growing $25 million in earnings last year, which are in the past year, which Forbes estimates. I'm not saying you have to cop to that, but that's what we estimated.
Thanks for that. Now I can never fly Southwest. Thanks.
And also, you sold 750,000 tickets to your shows in the last year, which, by the way, I got a hotel room. I'm looking at the state. That's more than the Cleveland Browns. So you're Ohio royalty. Yes.
Yeah, it's not saying a lot.
So here's what I find interesting about you.
They said if I sell 10 more tickets, I can play quarterback next year. Excited. No, it's been awesome, man. It's been unbelievable. Are you kidding me?
It's been unbelievable in part because a lot of people are like, where'd this guy come from? What a lucky guy. But you're like an overnight success. But it's 12 years in the making, right?
Yeah, it's been 12 years, man. A lot of.
Because you're young, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at him! He just walked in, and he's a star." And you've been working it since you were a teenager, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, last July I was taking Greyhounds to shows. Like, it's been an incredible change of a year.
So, what was the lowest point when you were sitting there, kind of, riding the dog, the Greyhounds, sleeping in the Motel 6? What was the low point?
Low point.
And what'd you learn from it?
Was about maybe it was right before end of 2019, right before COVID and everything happens. I was lugging my giant suitcase that was well overweight through the subway and through like the slushy, snowy streets of New York. I had flown out to New York to do a couple of shows to make absolutely no money. I was staying at a hostel. I was trying to lug my bag to a hostel that ended up having a broken window and was freezing outside. And I'm lugging my giant bag through the streets of New York. It's slushy. I'm sweating through all of my coat, and I'm just miserable. I'm out here doing this trip to make absolutely no money, but I was like, I have to go perform in New York. You have to show your face in these different cities, and you have to be able to perform in different cities. Otherwise, you get so complacent performing in front of the same type of audience, right? So I was like, well, I have to go out to New York, stretch my legs a little bit. And just as I was like having the lowest, most depressing moment of I was so sad and I was angry and frustrated and sweaty and tired, I looked up and I was standing directly beneath the apartment that I had. It was like a penthouse suite in Times Square when I was working on TRL for MTV. And I was like, wow, 5 years ago, things were so different. I was living what I thought was a dream at that time, and now had a giant downslope, and now I'm staying at a hostel for $37 a night, sweating my ass off, and I'm miserable. And I was like, wow, this is the most humbling moment I've ever had to go through. I thought I had everything. I thought I had exactly what I wanted, but this job is so inconsistent and so insecure that even this amazing moment I'm having right now, I have to be so grateful and just accepting that even if nothing better for me ever happens than this, I still had this, and this kind of thing is not guaranteed to last. So I think perseverance and consistency are what I'm working on next.
And you've toiled enough that you appreciate the moment. A lot of people, I think, have your kind of success. It comes a little easier.
Oh, yeah. You'll have these little moments in your career where you go, I made it. I'm good. I'm going to be okay now. And then you will not work again for the next, 5 years. So you just have to be grateful for the moments that you have and understand the work you put in to be where you're at and understand that work doesn't stop when you get to where you are right now.
We've got a lot of entrepreneurs here who are trying to crack the code. You, again, for whatever reason, you've really cracked the code in terms of literally going viral. You're on TikTok, Instagram. You are just. I can't log on to anything without seeing you lately. The algorithms figured it out. What's the formula? What's the magic? And how can these guys learn from you?
Dude, I wish I had an answer for y'all. I really do. There's no strategy. There's no formula to success on social media. In fact, I hated social media. I've been doing comedy for 12 years, and for 11 of those years, everybody was like, you should do social media, and I hate it. I don't enjoy social media at all. I think it's a very toxic place full of people with a lot of negative comments, and it's very discouraging, you know? But after 11 years of going against the grain, I was like, you know what? How long can I fight against this and it not work? So I was like, July of last year, I was really contemplating quitting comedy, moving back to Ohio and just getting like a normal job. I was like, I'm still young enough to start over. You know, it's not a complete waste of time.
Well, what were you going to do?
Oh,
the other job.
I don't know. Sell drugs. I don't know. Whatever. Go to prison, be somebody's girlfriend. Who knows? Whatever would have been an easier life than trying to be a comedian.
And so then you have that you're going to post something.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'll do one last go around. I'll teach myself how to edit. I'll buy a laptop. I'll learn how to do Premiere Pro, and I'll buy a camera with money I don't have. I had to borrow money from a friend to buy, and I'll start recording all my sets, and I'll just start posting some kind of video, and then. As a comedian, you don't want to burn through your material. Like, I'd say the number one grief I get online is that I only post crowd work. People always think, oh, you only do crowd work. I do an hour and 20-minute long show.
Right.
Maybe 10 minutes of that show is crowd work because I can't, as a comedian, you're not supposed to burn through your material. If you're paying money to come see me at a live show, you don't want to see the same jokes you already saw online, right? That wouldn't be fair to you. So crowd work is such a specific, unique incident that will probably never be duplicated ever again. So it's really infinite material if you can keep up with it.
But it's hard. I mean, because you don't know what's coming. That's why I think that's why it works. Because you have to be really. It's like improv, right? I mean, you have to you don't know what's coming, and you got to be funny. That must be much harder than just getting really good at your notes, right?
It's harder, but it's fun. You know, I mean, like a lot of jobs, you get tired of getting in the same workflow, right? You don't want your job to feel like a 9 to 5. Of course, I get tired of telling the same jokes over and over again. And you are working on them little bit by little bit, building towards an hour-long special, but you want something fun and new to happen. I had the power go out in Pensacola, Florida like 2 days ago, and everyone else was like, how did you deal with that? I was like, are you kidding me? It's the most fun I've had in 5 shows. Like, sometimes you want something unique and crazy to happen, right? If somebody went streaking right now, it'd make this whole convention 10 times better.
And he volunteers.
You just never know what's good. Don't!